and welcome to a beautiful day in Paris. I am back in my favourite city. Sorry about the noise of the traffic, that's inevitable in Paris, but I'm here for 4 days with my sister and my sister's best friend Laura, so Laura and Rebecca, and they're going to actually be in this vlog with me, which is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to show them around this city where I used to live, share how much I love it, the beautiful places, the food, and I'm really looking forward to spending a few days here. I think we're going to have an amazing time. So I'm currently on the balcony of the apartment we're at, and honestly the view is the most amazing. We're in the 5th arrondissement, which is like the Latin Quarter in Paris. It's very beautiful. Literally, if you're looking for the classic Parisian streets, then this is the place to come to. I'll show you the view, because honestly I just love it. And there's this nice little table and chairs so we can sit out for breakfast with a coffee, or in the evening with a glass of wine. I think it's really lovely. But yes, now the girls are still sleeping, but I'm an early riser because I'm a morning person. So I'm going to head to the bakery and get some breakfast, some croissants probably, which I'll bring back. We have a coffee machine in the apartment, which is convenient. So we're going to have some breakfast and then head out and start the day. When I come back to Paris, I'd be lying if I said going to the bakeries wasn't one of the things I look forward to the most. You just can't get bread and pastries of the same quality in England, so I was really excited to bite into my first croissant that morning, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint. Then I walked to the Jardin de Luxembourg first thing in the morning for a peaceful walk and to enjoy the gardens before it gets too hot. This park is one of my favourites, partly because of the impressive palace that sits at one end and provides a beautiful backdrop to the meticulously tended colourful flowers and the lake at the centre. I also love the palm trees, which in the summer create a fun tropical vibe, and the chairs make this a perfect spot to come and read a book. Afterwards, I walked to a museum that I've been meaning to visit for a while, and which I couldn't wait to finally explore, the Musée Eugène Delacroix, located in the 6th arrondissement and tucked away in a pretty little square called Place Fürstenberg. This is the former house of the famous painter Eugène Delacroix, which today is a museum displaying his work. Eugène Delacroix was a romantic artist who was regarded throughout his career as the leader of the French Romantic school. Inspired by the art of Rubens and the painters of the Venetian Renaissance, his work contrasted to other artists at the time who focused on neoclassical perfectionism. I would say that this is definitely an underrated museum in the city. Being more out of the way, it is not teeming with tourists and makes for a peaceful escape from the busy city. So I've just been to the Musée Eugène Delacroix, and he was a French painter, and it was lovely to walk around his house and gardens. It's very peaceful and hidden away in a square in Paris. And now I think I'm going to head to the Centre Pompidou, because I've heard that there's an exhibition on Norman Foster, who was a very famous British architect, so I'm interested in seeing that, so I'm heading there now. After all that walking, I was in need of a coffee break, so I stopped to sit at a lovely little cafe just down the street for an espresso and to read for a bit. I love the terrace in Paris, where everyone sits outside, because I find it the perfect way to just soak in the atmosphere of the city, and as someone who enjoys people watching, there is no better place to do it. Afterwards, I walked to the Centre Pompidou because a friend of mine recommended an exhibition to me that he had been to about the work of the famous English architect Norman Foster. As architecture students, this type of exhibition naturally appeals to us, and I knew I had to make a visit during my trip in Paris, so I went at the first opportunity I had. Now, I have to admit that the Centre Pompidou is not my favourite building in Paris, and I've always thought that it rather resembles intestines, but from the inside it is a great place to get rooftop views of Paris. I had to go up all of the escalators to the top for the exhibition, which was quite fun, and arriving at the top I was impressed by how much I could see. There are views of the Eiffel Tower, the skyscrapers of La Défense, and the Sacré-Cœur Cathedral at the top of Montmartre hill. When I finally got over the view and made my way to the exhibition, I was once again blown away. In the first room, every inch of the walls were covered in architectural drawings of all kinds, from plans and sections to perspectives and details. I absolutely loved the fact that everything was done by hand, because these days architects have shifted to use technology to produce all of their drawings, and I can't even describe how inspiring it was for me to see all of these incredible designs done by hand. Also, it was funny to me to see that in all of the diagrams, he used a heart to represent communal gathering spaces, because I recently did a group project where we did exactly the same thing. Our scheme to design student accommodation was centred around how kitchens are the heart of the home, and we drew little hearts, and I just thought that was really cute. In the next room, there were lots of models which brought his drawings to life, and the level of detail was simply incredible. So So I'm with my sister and Laura, say hi.
Hi.
And we want to do a spot of shopping because obviously Paris is a great place to go shopping. So we're heading towards La Samaritaine, which is like this historic department store that I've never been to, so I'm really excited to go. And also it was in Emily in Paris, so they'll recognise the location.
Yeah, hopefully.
And they've both seen the series, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're heading there now. So it's the next day, and I think yesterday we finished the vlog when we were about to go shopping. We went to La Samaritaine, but I mean, that place was cool to look around for the architecture, but not gonna lie, it was a bit out of our budget. So we ended up going to Zara, walking around there a bit. Then we went out to meet my friends for a little party at their house. So that's why we didn't like vlog anymore, but today we came out, but we were late, so we were rushing because someone takes long to get ready in the morning. So we came straight to the fashion museums. We booked tickets in advance, and so we looked around now, and we're about to head to the Eiffel Tower because Laura hasn't seen the Eiffel Tower in person before.
No.
So really looking forward to going and seeing that, taking some photos there, and probably sitting in the park in front of it for a bit. But yes, today we got out early for us with 3 girls getting ready in one bathroom, and we're ready to just have a really sightseeing touristy day. But a really funny story is when we were on the metro on the way here, okay, Laura just starts kicking my shoe, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. You say what happened.
But it's alright, you got it, you got it.
Okay, so there's this homeless man who's in the carriage, and we're like, you know, begging for money because they often do that in Paris. But obviously people kind of, I mean, some people gave him change and stuff, but not many. And I think he was annoyed. So before leaving the carriage, he just goes, I have something for you.
And he drops a beetle on the floor. The most scariest thing of my life. And then it starts flying because someone starts saving it or something.
Yeah, so because I didn't notice it, but Laura saw it, so she's kicking me because she doesn't want to say anything, and she's like pointing at it, and then we start freaking out. I mean, I feel like I kept my calm quite well. These two were freaking out.
The next stop we got off and then went to another carriage. We weren't having it. We weren't having it.
But what was funny was that there were some people on there who kind of adopted the beetle. Like this lady starts, because it's upside down, so she flips it around and then picks it up, and then another one like pours water on the floor of the carriage for the beetle to drink. It's so random. But yeah.
At first she said step on it.
And they were like,
she was like, stamp on it, and then me and Laura were like, okay, let's stamp on it, and then she started saving it till it flies.
And they kept going, oh look how beautiful it is, because it's like this really lovely emerald green colour, which I admit was pretty, but you don't want this beetle flying around in the metro carriage. My main concern was that it was going to fly in my hair and get stuck. But yeah, funny story of the day. The Musée de la Mode, the Paris Fashion Museum, officially known as the Palais Galliera, is located in the 16th arrondissement, not far from the Eiffel Tower. For fashion lovers, this is a must-visit museum in Paris, particularly since this is the city of fashion. The permanent collections display the development of fashion from the 18th century to the present day, with approximately 200,000 items in its collections. There are also pieces by leading designers such as Balenciaga, Balmain, Dior, Yves Saint Laurent, Givenchy, Fortuny. The list goes on, and it makes for an impressive visit. There is also a section to do with the influence of sport on women's clothing over the centuries, and I found it so interesting to see the hats designed for women to wear in the first motor cars, and the first swimming costumes, and things like that. Another impressive part of the collection that I hadn't expected was the fashion photography collection, with photos from the late 19th century to today. The illuminated slides on display were organised by colour and just exuded glamour, and I couldn't get enough of them. Since we were so close to the Eiffel Tower, that's where we headed next. Unfortunately, Place Trocadéro was closed for the preparations for the Bastille Day celebrations, but nonetheless we got a good view of Paris's most iconic landmark, and it was nice and sunny, which made for a lovely walk by the Seine. We've just walked from the Eiffel Tower along the Seine to La Tourette, and we bought some macarons, which we're going to try later. But now we're just going to look for a cafe because it's really hot and the walk was in direct sunlight the whole time, so we're all just really tired, so we just need to sit for a bit. Hi, so we're back at the apartment, and honestly you can see by how shiny my face is that I've been sweating all day because it's just so hot. We stopped to sit for a little bit, to have a drink and refresh ourselves, and then just basically got the metro back after walking around a little bit more around the opera area of Paris, where the Opera Garnier is, like that street. But yes, it's time for me to try my macarons, because there are some new flavours that came out, and I've made myself an espresso in the cute little cup that they have in the apartment. And I'm going to try one of them now. But yes, we're just going to relax. I'm going to shower because we're going to go out for dinner today. Because actually I made a reservation at Le Train Bleu, which is like a really famous restaurant in Paris, located in like train station, which is why it's called Le Train Bleu, which means the blue train. But it's literally so beautiful inside. I've always wanted to go because when I see the pictures, it's like all gold and honestly like a palace or something. It's so beautiful, so I'm really excited to eat there tonight. We're going because it was my sister's 18th birthday not long ago, so it's like to celebrate that. But yes, I need to get ready before, because I can't go looking like this and feeling so sticky. However, it's time for a coffee break and a macaron if I can get one out. They have several new flavours that came out. So like for example, this one is olive oil and chocolate, which sounds interesting. And then I have one that is yogurt cherry, which I think is the one I'm going to have now. And then the other limited edition one is this one, which is what's it called? Cherry blossom tea. So that also sounds interesting. I feel like, well, actually I might try the cherry blossom tea one first, because that sounds like an interesting flavour. You just can't go wrong with macarons from La Tourée. I think that one's actually really good. It is very tea-like though, it's not very sweet, but really good. So I'm going to enjoy these and then get ready, because I definitely need to. Montmartre, and we're walking around, looking at the shops and things, and enjoying like the narrow cobbled streets here. What do you guys think of this area?
It's really nice. It's cute. It's one of my favourite parts, to be honest.
Yeah, and also we like looking around at all the artists and like drawing portraits and stuff, and we did ask how much they cost, but they're a bit like out of our budget.
Like 80 for one. Sorry, what?
Yeah, 80 euros is a bit much, but it was cool to watch them like still drawing here, so that was nice. A look, and we wrote our initials on, and we're going to put it on the fence. There's loads of locks on. Wait, actually, over here.
On there? Yeah.
Lock there.
And then the view.
I've always loved the view from the top of the hill in Montmartre, with the beautiful cathedral on the other side, and I always feel nostalgic coming back here because it used to be my daily walking route when I lived in the city, so it brings back old memories. This neighbourhood is full of hidden gems, one of them being a vintage analogue photo booth from the 50s, where we stopped to take some really cool black and white vintage photos that I'll show you later in the vlog, but I always wanted to go there, so it was a lot of fun to try out the booth with Rebecca and Laura. We hung out in Montmartre until it got dark to see the lights slowly turn on and the view transform. I mean, it is called the City of Lights after all. And then we got the metro to the Eiffel Tower to see up close how beautiful it is when it is all lit up, because honestly it is one of the most magical experiences. It's the evening now and we've come out to see the Eiffel Tower at night, because I feel like it's almost better seeing it at night because the lights is honestly so stunning. We're waiting for the Eiffel Tower to sparkle because apparently in the evening every hour on the hour it sparkles, so we're standing waiting. It's behind me, it's not sparkling yet.
Wait, you're gonna... Oh my god. Oh, is that it? Oh.
home in England. It's actually been a while since I came back from Paris, but life has been very busy. I've had my graduation and the vlog for that will be coming out very soon as well. But there's just been a lot going on. But I had a wonderful time in Paris. As you can see from the footage of the last day that we were there, we spent the day in Montmartre, so we were walking around, enjoying the view, and we stayed until, so we had lunch and then we stayed until it got dark outside, because the view with all of the lights is honestly so lovely in the evenings as well. And we went to a nice restaurant that was on Rue des Martyrs, and I had a tartare, which is like a traditional French dish of raw mince beef. Which might sound off-putting to some people, and it's funny because when I ordered, the waiter was like, you know it's raw, right? It's not cooked. And I was like, yes, I know, I'm familiar with the dish. But apparently lots of tourists just see that it says meat and they order it without realising it's raw. But it's a speciality, something you can't get in other countries really. I don't think that, I've never seen it on the menu in England, so I was like, I need to make the most of the French cuisine while I'm there. And we also went to a photo booth, and I think there's like briefly some footage of it, but it's called like the Fotoautomat, and it's a photo booth from the 1950s. It's vintage, and inside they have like old photographic film, like an analog camera, it's not digital, and it produces black and white photos, and it's honestly so cool. I've seen it around and I've always wanted to go but never been, but because I was there with my sister Rebecca and Laura, we went there together, and it was a lot of fun. We went a few times because the first time we didn't really know how it worked, and then you put the money in and straight away it starts flashing and taking photos, so we weren't ready. But it was a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend going if you visit Paris with your friends or something, because it's a fun experience and so cool to see the old photo booth and everything. And actually when we were there, the film ran out, so the lady, there's a little shop just to the right of the photo booth, and she came out and like replaced the film, so you see her take it out. It's honestly really big, like this big, the roll of film, and she put in the new one. So it's cool to get that kind of experience of a vintage photo booth and how it works. And we took some photos, so I have some here with my sister that I took. So the film comes out like this. It's really vintage style photos, and then I also did one alone just because it was quite fun, and you can see what they look like, but the style of it is so aesthetic and pretty. Like it literally looks like an old-fashioned vintage photo. I just love it. Sorry about my sore throat. I have a bouquet of flowers at home that I've now gotten rid of because it made me have a really bad allergic reaction. So that's why I sound like I have a sore throat. But yeah, I feel like these are so cool, and I'll be putting these up, probably like sticking them by the mirror or something in my bedroom because they're so sweet. It's a lovely memory to have. But yes, I hope you enjoyed following me around Paris, and if you did, please like this video and subscribe to my channel to join me on more adventures, and I will see you next time. Bye!